Good morning, students. Welcome to your geography class. I hope all of you are well. As you know, today we will start a new chapter of your syllabus, and as you can see, this is chapter 3, drainage. So first we'll discuss about that what is drainage. Now, the term drainage describes the river system of an area. So what is drainage means? Now drainage means a river system of an area. Okay. It example like Damodar, which we have in our locality. We have Ganga, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Brahmaputra. So many rivers are there. Okay, and all these rivers known as drainage because all these rivers system belongs to an area. Okay, the next topic we will discuss about what is drainage basin. As you can see, okay, what is drainage basin? So the next thing we will discuss that what is drainage basin. Now the area drained by a single river system is called as drainage basin. So what is drainage basin? When an area is covered by a single river known as drainage basin system, as we have like Ganga river system, Yamuna river system, Damodar river system, Indus river system. All these single rivers are covered an area. So this is known as drainage system. When a river covered an area, it includes so many states, so many regions, we call it as drainage basin. Okay. Now the next most important feature we'll discuss is water divide. Okay. Within the name only you can understand water divide, it means there is deviation. Okay, so what is water divide? When an mountain, okay, it is only possible if we have mountain or an upland area, okay, required that. So such as mountain or an upland area separates two drainage basin known as water divide. Okay, so when we have the peak point of a mountain or an upland, through that when we have the melted snow or rainfalls, what happen, it automatically due to both side of the slope of that mountain of that upland, okay, what happened, now this divided into two parts from the peak point of the mountain or from the peak point of that upland area, and because there is two sides of the slope of every single mountain, every single upland, you have seen two sides of slopes they are having. Okay, so from both the sides when water flow, it can be like through melted snow or it can be through rainfall. Okay, so when we have two separate division of water streams, okay, or channel, we call it water divide. If you see your textbook, you can clearly see that this is water divide. It means this is the middle, wherever it is written water divide, this is an upland area or a mountain. Okay, now both the side we have the slopes, right side and left side. Okay, so what happened in this middle portion, when we have rainfall or we have snowfall, now what is going to happen, both sides of the slopes, from the both sides of the slopes, streams or channel are going to flow. Okay, it can be melted snow, like in Himalayan mountain region we have melted snow, but in peninsular region we don't have melted snow. So what we are going to have, okay, we are going to have water, rainfall water. So from any mountain or upland area, when water moves towards two different directions, so we call that mountain or upland area as a water divide, as it is working as a divider in between the two streams. Okay, so in the first para what we discussed drainage, we discussed drainage basin, we discussed water divide. Okay, these are the three features we discussed in the first para. Okay, now the next, drainage systems of India. So what is drainage systems of India? The drainage systems of India can be categorized into two groups. Okay, the whole drainage system of the whole India from north to south and from east to west categorized into two groups. Now first is Himalayan rivers, second is peninsular rivers. Okay, so you can see now we have two categories of this Indian river system, Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. Okay, now Himalayan rivers means these rivers are originated from Himalayan mountain river, as well as they are having 365 days constantly water. Okay, because all these Himalayan rivers like Ganga, Indus, Brahmaputra, these rivers because originated from the glaciers of the Himalayan mountain region, so they are getting their water 365 days. So these type of rivers which is getting 365 days water, we call it perennial rivers. Okay, we call it perennial water because they are going to have water throughout the year. So when the rivers are having water throughout the year, we call it perennial river. And these are the main feature of the Himalayan rivers of India. This is the main feature of Himalayan river of India. Okay. Now next type of rivers we have is peninsular river. Okay, what is this peninsular river? The peninsular rivers, these type of rivers are originated from an mountain or from an upland area. So Himalayan rivers are basically originated from specifically Himalayan mountain, from the glaciers. But peninsular rivers of India, which is basically belongs to southern portion of India, they all are originated from the mountain or from a hilly region or from an upland area. And as we all know, there is no hill or mountain or upland area in south of India where we found glacier. Okay, so how these rivers are formed? These rivers are basically formed by the rainfall river. Okay, these rivers are basically formed by the rainfall water. Okay, and as you know, there are very few specific months in India where we are getting rainfall, like June, July, okay, August. This is the month when we have monsoon rainfall in India, because our rainfall totally depend upon monsoon, and this is the time period when we are having rainfall. So these type of rivers which is originated by rainfall water, these are not going to have water throughout the year. These are not going to have water throughout the year. So we call it non-perennial river. Exactly opposite of perennial river, it is non-perennial. So what is the main difference between perennial and non-perennial river? Like perennial river means when rivers are getting water throughout the year 365 days. Non-perennial river means when rivers are getting water in specific time of the year. This is known as non-perennial river. Opposite of perennial river is non-perennial river. And all the peninsular rivers of India like Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Tungabhadra, Mahanadi, okay, Tapi, Narmada, Bhartpuja, all these peninsular rivers of India, because they all are originated from the peninsular region of India, and because they are not getting any type of glacier or snow, so they are totally depend upon monsoon rainfall. So these rivers are basically non-perennial river. Okay. Now next two major Himalayan rivers, Indus and Brahmaputra, originate from north of the mountain range. They have cut through the mountains making gorge. Okay, now what is gorge? Gorge is one feature created by river. Okay, what is that? Now any river, just you have seen any river originated from a mountain or from an upland area. When constantly rivers are flowing through the mountain or from the upland area, it creates a deep channel over here. It creates a deep scar over there. Okay. So if you see this picture only, in your textbook, you will see that because these rivers are flowing from middle portion of this mountain, and it's not from millions of years the same way rivers is flowing through this mountain. So now river is separated the mountain into two parts. Okay, when with a huge amount of water river is flowing from the same place constantly, it will separate the mountain or the upland area into two equal parts. This is known as gorge. Okay, this type of feature is known as gorge. Now the Himalayan rivers. Okay, now what are the features of Himalayan rivers? The Himalayan rivers are basically carrying huge amount of water because they all are originated from the glaciers. They are having lengthwise, they are long, lengthwise they are very much long, and most of the Himalayan rivers of India are eastern flowing. Okay, this is not only for Himalayan region, most of the rivers of India are eastern flowing. Basically they all are merged with Bay of Bengal. Okay, so peninsular rivers of India are not long as compared to Himalayan rivers. Their length is very much short because they are not getting water throughout the year. They are not carrying, compared to Himalayan rivers, they are not carrying huge amount of alluvium and all. So the rivers of peninsular region are very much short. They are not getting water throughout the year. Okay, and they are also merged with the sea or with the ocean. Okay, now rivers are always having a tendency that in their upper course, okay, in their upper course they are doing erosional activity constantly. From where they originate, they are doing their erosional activity. Why? Because here river is very much young, because it's very much new. This is the place where it's originated, so it is young, it is new. So upper course basically river is doing its erosional activity. As river is going down, as it enters its middle course as well as lower course, the force of the water started decreasing. The speed of the water started decreasing. Here rivers are creating depositional activity, and it's create meander and oxbow lakes. Okay, these are some depositional features in their upper course, in their middle course and in their lower course. Okay, so in the middle course and in the lower course, why rivers are doing depositional activity? Why not erosional? Because here in the middle and in the lower course, river decreased their water speed. Why it decreased the speed? Because as river enters the middle and lower course, it means it's entering the plain region. As you know, the slopes that we have in the mountain, same slopes we don't have in the plain region. So as rivers is entering plain region, so there is very less slopes. Automatically, due to less slopes, rivers can't continue their erosion activity. So here rivers in the middle and lower course, rivers started their depositional activity. Okay, that's why in this portion in the middle and lower course, rivers created these features like meanders and oxbow lake. Okay, these are some depositional features of river. Now if you see this diagram from your textbook only, you will get to see that they divided this diagram into three parts: upper course, middle course, lower course. In upper course you can see source of the river. Upper course means from where the river originated. It is the source of the river. Okay, here river is doing all the erosion activity as is having huge slope, so automatically speed is high, so it's possible for the river to do its erosion activity. As rivers now entering the middle course, as you can see, it means here rivers entering maturity age. In upper course river is young, okay, age wise. In middle course rivers is entering its maturity age. Here is river is doing both the activity, erosional sometimes deposition activity. Both the activities simultaneously rivers are playing in the middle course. Sometimes wherever it gets the slope, it's creating the or is doing its erosional activity. Wherever rivers are not getting the slope, it's doing its deposition activity. And as you see, meander, what is meander basically? Now when rivers are getting very less slope, as rivers enters in the middle course, if you see closely, as rivers now enters the middle course, okay, as it enters the plain areas, okay. So here rivers are not getting enough slopes, so wherever rivers are getting as possible slopes, rivers are flowing through that, rivers are flowing through that only, wherever possibility of the slopes are getting rivers are flowing through that only. So due to this rivers are creating U shape or half circle. Rivers are constantly moving like this U shape or half circle shape. So this half circle or this U type of shape created by rivers, we call it meanders. We call it meanders. Okay, if you see this U shape where river U-turn, okay, due to the slope, this is known as meander. Now in a lower course where rivers are is totally up to deposition activity, because here rivers are not getting any type of slopes, now river is doing only the deposition activity. In this deposition activity, rivers are making oxbow lake and deltas, okay. What is oxbow lake? Now if you see, one side we have the meander, okay, one side is mentioned as oxbow lake. Now this possibility, now when constantly from an area river is flowing, so and because it's a lower course where automatically rivers will do their deposition activity, so where now we have the oxbow lake, maybe previously from this place only river is flowing, from this place only river is flowing, but now because it is a lower course and where rivers are doing is deposition activity, so year by year when rivers are doing is deposition activity on this exact place, so what will happen, now that area is fully covered by the alluvium or by the deposition, and whatever left through that river is flowing. So beside meander, it also create an oxbow, like see it's looking like oxbow only, okay. So this is we call oxbow lake, because at the lower course when river enters, it's not going to get slope, so automatically river speed will decrease a lot. At the same time, year by year when at the same place river is constantly doing its deposition activity, so what will happen, now one part of the river bank it is going to do the deposition activity, and the left portion through that river will flow, so this will create meander as well as oxbow lake at the same time. Now next feature we have in this lower course is known as delta. Lower delta is the extreme last feature of the river, where river is going to merge with the sea or with the ocean, okay. When river is going to merge with the sea or with the ocean, we call it mouth of the river, okay. We call it mouth, mouth, mouth of the river. In this place what happened, whatever depositional product like alluvium, soil, pebbles, nodules, rocks, small rocks, of course, whatever left within the river, they all are going to deposit in the borderline where we have river, and river is going to meet with the ocean or with the sea, okay. So here what happened, because so many years, for million years river is constantly going to deposit before meeting the or before merging with the sea or with the ocean. At the last time when river is going to deposit all the left alluvium, nodules, rocks, all these things here, so this will create an island. This will create an island, and it's not like within 1 year or within 2 years, it's because of millions of years rivers are constantly doing this, okay. So this will create an island, and these islands which we call delta, they are having a specific shape. Okay, these are not random shape. Okay, they are having a specific shape like triangle, and in Greek language triangles are known as delta. Okay, so from where delta name came? From the Greek language. Okay, in Greek they call triangle shape as delta, and if you see these islands, shapes are similar to delta, not exactly triangle, similar to triangle, so we name these features as delta. Okay, and this is the last feature done by the river, because here river is now going to totally merge with the sea or with the ocean. So whatever alluvium or deposition activity left by the rivers, they are going to deposit every single thing here. So because from so many years rivers are doing this constant activity, it will create a island, and this island looks like the triangle, and in Greek language triangles are called as delta, so we name this islands as delta. Okay, so I hope up to here is clear to all of you. So today we discussed about what is drainage. Okay, we discussed what is drainage, we discussed what is water divide, we discussed drainage, we discussed first drainage basin. Okay, we discussed the categories of Indian rivers, that is Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. And as you know, Himalayan rivers means perennial rivers, and peninsular rivers means non-perennial rivers. As well as we also discussed about the three courses of rivers. It is upper course, which is young age of river, then we have middle course, which is the maturity age of river, then we have the lower course, okay, which is the old age of the river. And every single course wise rivers are doing their erosional and depositional activity. Okay, so hopefully this video is helpful for you to understand the three courses and the basic terms in drainage. So thank you students, thank you for watching today's video, and we will discuss this chapter in your further class.